Now we will talk about the very important properties, which is density. Before we talk about the density, I have a question. Which one is heavier, 1 kilogram of cotton or 1 kilogram of iron? They have the same weight, but they are different in their spaces. The 1 kilogram of cotton took a large spaces, but 1 kilogram of iron took small spaces, which means that 1 kilogram of cotton has lower density than 1 kilogram of iron. Let's see the following figures that show the mass of equal volumes of different substances. I have 3 cubes, one made of cork and the other made of wood and the other made of iron. All of them have the same volume, 1 cubic centimeter. When we put them on the sensitive scale, we will find that the mass of the cork is 0.2 gram, but the mass of wood is 0.5 gram, and the mass of iron is 7.8 gram, which means that the mass of iron is larger than the mass of wood, and the mass of wood is larger than the mass of cork. This is due to the difference in their density. So the density depends on 2 factors, which is mass and the volume. So the density depends on 2 factors, which is mass and the volume. What is the meaning of density? Density is the mass of unit volume of a substance. To know the relation about the density, mass, and volume, we make a magic triangle to be easily density equal the mass over the volume. What is the measuring unit of the mass? We talked before about the measuring unit of the mass. It's gram or kilogram. We will use a gram. Okay, what about the volume? The volume is cubic centimeter. So the relation between density, mass, and volume, density equal mass over volume. Okay. Now we will talk about the relation between floating or sinking of the matter in the water and the density. If I have the basin or container or glass container, I bring to you the glass beaker containing water, and I will put it inside it some materials: cork, coin, metallic coin, iron nails, and a piece of wood, and a drop of oil. Let's see. First, put the following substance: piece of cork and a piece of wood, iron nail, and a coin. Okay? What will we observe? That the piece of cork will float on the water surface, but the piece of coin will sink in the water, and the iron nail also, but the piece of wood will float on the water, as shown in the figure. Why the cork float on the water surface? Because the cork has lower density than the density of the water. This is the relation between the density of the cork and the relation between the water. What about the piece of wood? The piece of wood has lower density than the density of the water. Why the piece of coin sink in the water? Yes, because it has higher density than the density of the water. I have a question about the density. Why the mass of equal volumes of different substances are different? Because they are different in their density. This is due to difference in their density. Now we will talk about the metals and their chemical activity. The metals are different in their chemical activity. I have a very active element and less active elements and inactive elements. The very active elements, they make a reaction very quickly with oxygen when exposed to humid air, like sodium and potassium. So they are kept under the surface of kerosene. Why we kept sodium and potassium under the surface of kerosene? To protect them or to prevent their reaction with atmospheric oxygen. And I have a less active elements. The less active elements, they react with the oxygen after period of time, forming a layer of rust, like iron, aluminium, copper. Okay, and the least one is the inactive element. It's very hard to react with oxygen. So they are used in making jewels and covering other substance to protect it from rusting. Okay, I have many questions. Why the metallic bridges and light bulbs in the street are painted from time to time to protect it from rusting? Okay, can you say to me how we painted which material, which elements, very active or less active or inactive, we used to paint the metallic bridges and light bulbs? Yes, we painted it by the inactive elements to protect it from rusting. Okay, another questions. The spare parts of cars are coated with grease. Why? To protect it from rusting and corrosion. Okay, the least questions. Cooking pots. You know that the cooking pots are made of? Yes, aluminium and stainless steel. But they are washed by the rough materials. Why we washed the cooking pots with the rough materials? To remove any layers formed on its surface. Thank you for listening.